I do know he has some chemicals in there, and I suppose he does experiments or something, but what the room looks like, what he actually does in there, I have no idea. All I've ever got out of it are a few funny smells and the tap of my father's stick. I stroked the long handle of the trowel, wondering if my father had a name for that stick of his. I doubted it. He doesn't attach the same importance to them as I do. I know they are important. I think there is a secret in the study. He had hinted as much more than once, just vaguely, just enough to entice me so that I want to ask. So that he knows that I want to ask, I don't ask, of course, because I wouldn't get any worthwhile answer. If he did tell me anything, it would be a pack of lies, because obviously the secret wouldn't be a secret anymore if he told me the truth. And if he can feel as I do with with my increasing maturity, he needs all the holds over me he can get. I'm not a child anymore. Only these little bits of bogus power enable him to think he is in control of what he sees as the correct father-son relationship. It's pathetic, really, but with this little with his little games and his secrets and his hurtful remarks, he tries to keep his security intact. I leaned back in the wooden chair and stretched. I like the smell of the kitchen, the food, the mud on our well the mud on our Wellingtons, and sometimes the faint tang of cordite coming up from the cellar all give me a good, tight, thrilling feel when I think about them. It smells different when it's been raining and all our clothes are wet. In the winter, the big black stove pumps out heat fragrant with driftwood or peat, and everything steams and the rain hammers against the glass. Then it has a comfortable, closed in feeling, making you feel cozy, like a great big cat with its tail curled around itself. Sometimes I wish we had a cat. All I ever had was a head, and the seagulls took that. I went to the toilet, down the corridor off the kitchen, for a crap. I didn't need to pee because I'd been pissing on the poles during the day, infecting them with my scent and power. I sat there and thought about Eric, to whom such an unpleasant thing happened. Poor twisted bugger. I wondered, as I often wondered, how I would have coped, but it didn't happen to me. I have stayed here, and Eric was the one who went away, and it all happened somewhere else. And that's all there is to it. I'm me, and and here's here. I listened, wondering if I could hear my father. Perhaps had gone straight to bed. He often sleeps in the study rather than in the big room on the second floor, where mine is maybe where mine is. Maybe that room holds too many unpleasant or pleasant memories for him. Either way, I couldn't hear any snoring. I hate having to sit down on the toilet all the time. With my unfortunate disability, I usually have to. As though I was a bloody woman. But I hate it. Sometimes in the Caldame Arms, I stand up at the urinal, but most of it ends up running down my hands or legs. I strained. Plop, splash. Some water came up and hit my bum, and that was when the phone went. Shit, I said, and then laughed at myself. I cleaned my arse quickly and pulled up my trousers, pulling the chain to and waddling into the corridor, zipping up. I ran up the broad stairs to the first floor landing where our only phone is. I'm forever on at my father to get more phones put in, but he says he won't get called often enough to warrant extensions. I got to the phone before whoever was calling rang off. My father hadn't appeared. Hello, I said. It was a call box. Squawk, screamed a voice at the other end. I held the receiver away from my ear and looked at it, scowling. Tinny yells continued to come from the earpiece. When they stopped, I put my ear back to it. Port Neal 531, I said coldly. Frank, it's me. Me, hello there, hello. Is there an echo on this line, or are you saying everything twice? I said. I could recognize Eric's voice. Both, ha. Hello, Eric, where are you? Here. Where are you? Here. If we're both here, then why are we bothering with the phone? Tell me where you are before your money runs out. But if you're here, you must know. Don't know where you are. He started to giggle. I said calmly, stop being silly, Eric. I'm not being silly. I'm telling you where I am. You'll only tell Angus, and he'll tell the police, and they'll take me back to the fucking hospital. Don't use 4-letter words. You don't like them. Of course, I won't tell Dad. Fucking. It's not a 4-letter word. It's a 7-letter word. Isn't that your lucky number? No, look. Will you tell me where you are? I want to know. I'll tell you where I am if you tell me what your lucky number is. My lucky number is E. That's not a number, that's a letter. It is a number, and it's a transcend anyway, number 2.718. That's cheating. I meant an integer. You should have been more specific, I said, then sighed as the pips sounded and Eric eventually put more money in. Do you want me to call you back? Ho, you aren't getting it out of me that easy. How are you anyway? I'm fine. How are you? Mad, of course, he said, quite indignantly. I had to smile. Look, I'm assuming you're coming back here. If you are, please don't burn any dogs or anything, okay? What are you talking about? It's me, Eric. I don't burn dogs. He started to shout. I don't burn fucking dogs. What the hell do you think I am? Don't accuse me of burning fucking dogs, you little bastard. Bastard? All right. Eric, I'm sorry. I said as quickly as I could. I just want you to be okay. Be careful. Don't do anything to antagonize people, you know. People can be awful sensitive. Well, I could hear him say. I listened to him breathing, then his voice changed. Yeah, I'm coming back home, just for a short while to see how you both are. I suppose it's just you and old man. Yes, just the two of us. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Oh, good. There was a pause. Why don't you ever come visit me? I thought Father was down to see you at Christmas. Was he? Well, but why don't you ever come? He sounded plaintive. I shifted my weight to the other foot, looked around the landing and up the stairs, half expecting to see my father leaning over the banister rail, or to see his shadow on the wall of the landing above where he thought he could hide to listen to my phone call without me knowing. I don't like leaving the island for that long, Eric. I'm sorry. But I get this horrible feeling in my stomach as though there's a great big knot in it. I just can't go that far. Not overnight, or I just can't. I want to see you, but you're so far away. I'm getting closer. He sounded confident again. Good. How far away are you? Not telling you. I told you my lucky number. I lied. I'm still not going to tell you where I am. That's not. Well, I'll hang up now. You don't want to talk to Dad? Not yet. I'll talk to him later when I'm a lot closer. I'm going now. See you. Take care. You take care. What's to worry about? I'll be right. I'll be all right. What can happen to me? Just don't do anything to annoy people, you know? I mean, they get angry about pets, especially. I mean, and I'm not. What? What? What was that about pets? He shouted. Nothing. I was just saying. You little shit, he screamed. You're accusing me of burning dogs again, aren't you? And I suppose I stick worms and maggots into kids' mouths and piss on them too, eh? He shrieked. I said carefully, toying with the flecks. Now you mentioned it. Bastard. Bastard. You little shit, I'll kill you. You? His voice disappeared and I had to put the phone away from my ear again, and he started hammering the headset against the walls of the call box. The succession of loud clunks sounded over the calm pips as the money ran out. I put the phone back in the cradle. I looked up, but there was still no sign of Father. I crept up the stairs, stuck my head between the banisters, but the landing was empty. I sighed and sat down on the stairs. I got the feeling I hadn't handled Eric very well over the phone. I'm not very good with people, and even though Eric is my brother, I haven't seen him in over 2 years since he went crazy. I got up and went back down to the kitchen to lock up and get my gear. When I went to the bathroom, I decided to watch the television in my room. Then I went to the bathroom and decided to watch the television in my room or listen to the radio and to get to sleep early so I could be up just after dawn to catch a wasp for the factory. Okay. I can do this. I lay on my bed listening to John Peel on the radio and the noise of the wind round the house and the surf of the beach. Beneath my bed, my home brew gave off a yeasty smell. I thought again of the sacrifice poles, more deliberately this time, picturing each one in turn, remembering their positions and their components, seeing in my mind what those sightless eyes looked out to, and flicking through each view as a security guard changing cameras on a monitor screen. I felt nothing amiss. All seems well. My dead centuries, those extensions of me which came under my power through the simple but ultimate surrender of death, sensed nothing to harm me or the island. I opened my eyes and put the bedside light back on and looked at myself in the mirror on the dressing table over on the other side of the room. I was lying on top of the bed covers, naked, apart from my underpants. I'm too fat. It isn't that bad, and it isn't my fault, but all the same, I don't look the way I'd like to look. Chubby, that's me, strong and fit, but still too plump. I want to look dark and menacing, the way I ought to look, and the way I should look, the way I might have looked if I hadn't had my little accident looking at me. Looking at me, you'd never guess I'd killed 3 people. It isn't fair. I switched the light out again. The room was totally dark, not even the starlight showing while my eyes adjusted. Perhaps I would ask for one of those LED alarm radios, though I'm very fond of my old brass alarm clock. Once I tied a wasp to the string surface of each of the copper-colored bells on top, where the little hammer would hit them. where the little hammer would hit them in the morning when the alarm went off. I always wake up before the alarm goes, so I gotta watch. Okay, that was chapter 1. Maybe.